I literally just filmed for like an hour or 2 hours-ish to make a replacement video for the video that I didn't finish editing for tomorrow, because that one's bigger. It's a lot of editing and I've been feeling yucky, so I didn't want to look at the screen for too long. So I sat here and I tried out a new makeup style and all this stuff for this video. I drummed, and I was gonna take you guys through, and gals, you people, you folks, through how to, not how to write a song, but how I write songs. And I had all this great information and all these lovely things to tell you. And then I realized that my phone died and I didn't record any of it. Literally none of it. None of it recorded. And it was really sad.
It's difficult.
Onwards and upwards, as they say.
I'm Athena, and this is my channel.
I feel frustrated and mad! I feel so mad! Mad! Oh, I'm so angry! Losing that other video. Fuck. I'm not the greatest guitar player by any means. There are people who are way more technical, more virtuosic, and that's the way that it's always going to be when you're a human, okay? There's always going to be somebody out there who's going to be 100 times better than you, or 1,000 million times better. And if you get caught up on that and you let that stop you, then you're not going to get very far. Do I think it's important to compare yourself to other people? Yeah, I do actually. I think that whole don't compare yourself to other people is stupid. I think that's dumb. I think that other people should be your role models. And I think that you should compare yourself to how awesome they are, or, you know, how much better they are, but you shouldn't focus on that and let that stop you. You know, I have role models in guitar.
I love it. I mean, it's just like the coolest thing on the planet.
Favorites.
Go with me till the end of time. Your love for me.
I have people that I look up to. People that I downright worship. And that doesn't stop me from playing guitar. It inspires me. I don't go poo-poo and shit all over myself.
And the poo-poo comes out
Because I'm not as good as them. Could I be as good as them? Yeah, probably, you know, with teachers, and if I practice 5 hours a day for the next 15 years, you know, and that kind of thing, and I changed my entire life so that I became a guitarist and I went on tour all the time and that's what I was doing, then yeah, of course, you know, you gotta change your life to suit the environment of what you want to do, but I'm not doing that right now. So I'm as good as I can be for what I've allowed myself to be, if that makes sense. So that aside, I am only as good as I am. And I've been playing for a really long time. I should be better. I could get down on myself. Wow, I've been playing guitar for 20 years. I should be able to solo and all these kind of things. But you know what? I can't, and that's just the way it fucking is, so whatever. If I feel like gaining those skills, I'll work on them. But I play to my strengths. And first, I know what my strengths are. And then my weaknesses, I work on them on my own time, little by little, as much as I can handle. And I don't get down on myself about my weaknesses, because that's being failure oriented, right? I failed, I suck, I stop. That's not me, and I don't think that that's a healthy mindset for anybody, and that's what's going to stop you from making art. I think that, and not just think, but I feel in my bones that a growth mindset is the way to go. It's all part of the process. It's all part of learning and coming together and growing along your journey. It's really about how you get there, not the end result, right? So I could say, oh man, I suck, I'm a piece of shit, I've been playing for 20 years and I can't play a bunch of solos and I can't do every single scale perfectly and I can't go to Juilliard with my skills that I have right now. Or I can look at it and I can go, you know what, I've been playing for a really, really long time. I love to play guitar. This is what I'm good at. This is what I need to work on, right? Which one's a healthier mind frame? You know, if you're feeling a little too negative about where you're at musically, build your skills. You know, the confidence loop, the more competent you become at something, the more confidence you gain, the more confidence you gain, the more confident you become at things, right? So if I suck at this song and I practice this song and now I can play this song, I feel better about the fact that I couldn't play because now I can.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get me.
And now that I can play this song, I can learn another song, right? So it's kind of about not like letting yourself get down and sulking about how terrible you are, and instead, because that's kind of selfish, right? To just be thinking about yourself all the time and how bad you are about things and how much you suck at something. It's better to be like, wow, what's a solution for this? You don't have to feel good while you're finding the solution.
You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or it can be the mark of defeat.
It is staying with the breaking that produces the blessing. It is not what you go through that determines where you end up. It's who you listen to. Because I think right now you are walking through a valley between two voices. One is wisdom, one is worry. One is gratitude, one is grumbling. One is blame, one is faith.
Because every time you break, and in every way that you break, while it's a chance for you to give up and for you to fall apart, but there's also opportunity to get stronger and get smarter and get faster and get tougher and get more stable and get more resilient and get better.
What I need you to do is I need you to find a reason to keep going. And if you can find a reason to keep going, I know you're strong enough to do it because you're human. And every human has what it takes to get past whatever they're going through if they decide to. Push through it. Push through it. Tragedy and trials come to everybody. Only the strong survive.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning. You have the opportunity to show the world what you are really made of.
Pretty much what I'm saying is that the reason why I had the opportunity to play with musicians that are so far fucking out of my league, like you wouldn't believe how incredible a lot of the bands I've been in have been. I've been in amazing bands with just like the craziest players, like the best guitarists, the best drummers, the best bassists. They've blown me out of the water. And then there's been little old me, you know, just holding the fort on rhythm in the background, like, hey, I'm drowning back here.
I'm under the water. Please direct me.
But the reason why I've been chosen in those bands is because I have very specific strengths that are very, very strong because I developed them. And I'd like to share those with you because I think that maybe it might make you feel better about where you're at with your guitar. It might be helpful to you, or if you're a really, really graduated player and you've been playing for a really long time, maybe I know that I can get stuck in my molds or stuck in my own kind of paradigm and thought frames about how I play. And when I listen to somebody else who does things differently than me, it can kind of break me out of that or help me or inspire me. Or sometimes I'm like, wow, that person's really, I don't want to listen to anything I have to say. In which case, you know, I just turn off the video. So feel free to get out of here if this doesn't suit you. Or you could just like, you know, put it on mute and just watch. I had a talent and I developed it into a skill. And that skill allowed me room to be myself in bands. And that skill is songwriting and structuring. It's definitely not mixing. I want to talk to you about songwriting because a lot of people are really good at it. A lot of people aren't really good at it. And if you're not really good at it, there's a few ways you can go about it, right? There's the very formulaic approach of writing songs. You know, if you are a very math-oriented person, you know, you kind of got an engineer's brain and you like things to be in like specific orders and structures, then the formula, you know, of like, you've got your main riff, and then you've got that second riff, and then you've got a chorus, or maybe a verse, probably a verse. And then, you know, you got that other riff, that's probably one of these riffs. And then you've got the middle of your song, which could be its own little thing. And then, you know, you're gonna copy this structure in reverse at the end of the song. That's pretty standard songwriting, right? Most people do that. So the question you have to ask yourself,
you gotta ask yourself a question.
Where do you want to be like most people, right? It's a fine line between being classic and doing what everyone else is doing, right? You got to find that balance in yourself because there's nothing wrong with being classic. And if you're doing what everyone else is doing, is that just practice? Are you just getting better? Are you just honing your skills? Or are you trying to fit into a mold that isn't you and you're going to get lost in the din of everyone else's sound? These are real questions to ask yourself. So, you know, sometimes I think people who are very formula oriented in songwriting, I'm not talking about math metal. Because that's different. But people who are just, you know, like those basic simple structures, they work, especially for things like blues. But in metal and lots of other types of music, right, you can kind of get caught in this box. And do you want to be in this box? You need to figure that out. And that's probably a question if you're by yourself to really think about, you know, write about it, whatever, think about it a lot, watch a ton of videos, do whatever you're going to do, but think about it. And if you're not thinking about it and you're just doing it, also think about why you're just being like everybody else. Because there is a function for that. There is a function for it, but at what point are you just selling yourself and being a sheep? These are real questions to ask. So that's one approach, and that's very like, the way that you go about doing that is you take a riff, and then you take another riff, and then you take a riff, and you maybe 5 riffs, okay? And then you cycle them in some repetitive order. That's how you write that kind of song. That's like A, B, C, D, D, C, A, B, D, you know, like whatever. The way that I write songs that I think has won a lot of my bandmates over the years is it's a very intuitive approach that is an amalgamation of whatever's going on. I'm very much one of those people where I don't throw out riffs. I catalog them, I might film them, or I might record them on the video recorder, whatever, that voice recorder, and throw them in a back catalog of riffs to pull on, maybe with some little tab notes because it's easy to forget, you know, tuning notes, that kind of thing. My guitar is notoriously out of tune, so it can be hard to find those tunings sometimes. But I want to teach you guys about how I write songs intuitively, and I hope that it's meaningful for you. And if it's not, that's okay. But this is how I do it. So first, I have a guitar doodle. I don't get down on myself about anything. I just pick up a guitar and I just play whatever the heck comes to mind. And the second I get a feeling, I literally, like actually, quite literally, get a feeling right here. I get a feeling in my actual gut, in my stomach. It's like a butterfly, or like a little, like it's like a flutter, and I feel it in the riff, like it's a physical sensation. And when I feel that riff, then what I do, and this happens with other people's music too, I will feel the music actually in my guts, and that's how I know that it's something that resonates with me. So I will I take that feeling and I turn it to that riff. So, you know, I've been playing for half an hour, I've been playing for 2 weeks, and I haven't had a gut feeling about anything, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 I've got that feeling, and it's right there, and it hits me. So then I turn, it's like Sauron's eye, to that riff. I had this whole other song that I wrote for the other video, and I'm not gonna do that one, even though it was so badass. It was super badass. I'm not gonna do that one because I already wrote that song, and I want this to be organic, and I want you guys to see the process. So we're gonna start this whole thing again.